They laughed when she opened her mouth. Every time Maylene tried to speak in class, she could feel the eyes roll, the stifled chuckles, the whispers that were never quite whispered enough. It wasn't what she said. It was how she said it. Her accent, soft and lilting with traces of Mandarin, stood out in the sea of American voices like a wrong note in a polished symphony. She had moved to the U.S. from China when she was 12, bright-eyed, hopeful, and terrified. Her parents had uprooted their entire lives to give her a better one, and Maylene carried that weight like a secret in her backpack. At first, she didn't understand the jokes. They'd call her Ms. Ching Chong in the hallways or mimic her pronunciation behind her back, sometimes right to her face. When she read aloud in class, even teachers seemed impatient, cutting her off mid-sentence with a tight smile and a quick "Thank you, Maylene," as if saving the class from her voice. She started to shrink. Not physically, of course, but her presence, her joy, her willingness to raise her hand. She began rehearsing simple sentences before saying them. She stopped speaking at lunch entirely. It was easier to hide. But what they didn't know, what no one saw, was that while Maylene was growing quieter on the outside, she was becoming a storm on the inside. Every night, she read books out loud in her room. She listened to podcasts, watched news anchors, practiced difficult English phrases in the mirror until her tongue twisted into knots. She didn't want to erase her accent. She wanted to own it, to master English, not because they wanted her to sound American, but because she wanted her words to matter, to carry weight. One afternoon, while cleaning out her locker, Maylene overheard two girls talking about this upcoming graduation. Can you imagine if the valedictorian had an accent? They both laughed. She wouldn't even get through the first paragraph. People would walk out. What they didn't know, what no one expected, was that Maylene was the valedictorian. Quietly, consistently. She had outperformed everyone. Straight A's, science fairs, debate team, essay contests. She had worked through every humiliation, every sideways glance, every cruel comment, until she stood at the top of her class. When the announcement was made, the auditorium buzzed with disbelief. Some teachers looked confused. A few students snickered. One boy even whispered, "This should be good." As she stepped onto the stage, Maylene stood behind the podium in her cap and gown, the tassel swaying gently as she looked out at the sea of faces, some curious, some mocking, and some just waiting for her to fail. She took a deep breath, and then she spoke. Her voice was clear, confident, calm. Not perfect, oh no. Her accent was still there, proudly threading through her words like silk in a tapestry. But she didn't stumble. She didn't hide. "My name is Maylene Zhang," she began. "Some of you know me. Most of you don't. And that's okay. I haven't spoken much these past few years, but I've listened, I've learned, I've felt." She paused. "When I first came to this school, I was scared of my own voice. I was told I spoke funny, that I didn't belong, that my accent made me less smart, less capable, less American. I started to believe it, but I was wrong." A hush fell over the crowd. Even the kids who used to mock her were listening now. "I worked hard, not just for the grades, but for the chance to be seen, not as the Asian girl with the accent, but as someone with something to say. And I do have something to say today." She looked up, straight into the eyes of her bullies. Never let anyone make you feel small because you sound different. An accent is not a flaw. It's a sign of bravery. It means you're trying, learning, growing. It means you know more than one way to speak, one way to live, one way to be. Her voice didn't shake. I'm proud of my roots, proud of my journey, and proud to stand here, speaking with the same accent they told me would hold me back. Because it didn't. There was silence for a long, breathless moment. And then slowly the room erupted. It wasn't a polite clap. It was a standing ovation. From teachers, from students, even from the girls who had once mimicked her. Maylene didn't smile out of pride. She smiled out of peace. Not because they finally saw her, but because at last she had seen herself. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe. For more powerful real-life stories, turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. See you in the next video.